Okay. So what we have seen till now is we have seen how what it is called different directives are used in Angular, and then we have seen the ng if, ng for, and ng style, ng class, and all those things, right? So today we'll be seeing something different. So what we were doing till now is we were writing uh, everything in one component. Like till now, what I was doing is I was writing all these things in the home component, and then I was loading the home component in the app component like this. Right? So what today from today onwards we have to little bit modify our code. That means, as I told you in the beginning, we will not have only one component in the application. We have to break the web what it is called break the application into different components. So let us see what can be done. So for that, let me work on this home component. Let me remove all these things and try to make a to-do list. Okay, let me make a to-do list. So first I'll make a to-do list. Like what to do, I need one input field, input type equal to text, and I'll be using the ng model. I hope you remember the ng model, which is used to bind the value. So
Yes.
ng model equal to task name, let's say. So I have to create this property in the home component. So I'll remove all these things whatever I had created earlier. Okay, task name is of type string, which is empty by default. Okay, fine. Now after the input field I'll have one button. This is add task, and I'll bind the click event here. Click equal to, let's say, some function add task method. Add task method will be there in our TS file. Okay. So for this, what I should do is when I click on add task, it should store the thing into an array. So tasks is an array. Task is an array of strings. So I'll write string array, which is equal to this empty array in the beginning. Okay. Now what will happen? So this task, whatever I type here, so what is happening in the output? Let us see. Localhost 4200. Oh, I didn't run the application. So ng serve. So this ng serve we are doing every day. We can do a shortcut also, ngs, and it will do it. Do the same thing. Yeah, it is done. Now let us see. So reload this page and we are able to see this. App component is there, home component. So let me apply some padding. Do I need some padding? Yes, I need some padding. Let me remove these borders. Okay, all these borders I will remove it. Where are those borders? I think in the home component. Okay, okay, so I can apply some padding, no problem.
What was my
So 20 px padding I can add. Margin 5 px. Same thing I will apply for the app component as well. Okay, this is how it looks like. Inside the app component, we have the home component where this thing is loading. Okay, now what to do? When I type here anything, this text will be stored in which value? It will be stored in this task name. So task name is here, right? This task name I have to push to an array, and I have to apply ng for on this array to create a list of items. Okay, so what I do here, this dot tasks dot push of this dot task name. Okay. Once it is pushed, what I need to do, I have to apply the ng for on this. So after the button, what I'll do, I'll create one UL list items. So here in the li, I'll apply the ng for star ng for equal to let task of tasks. Is it tasks? What is the name of the array? It is tasks. Okay. So I can write let task of task. And here using interpolation, I will display the task because it is an array of strings. So I can see here when it is reloaded, if I write shopping and I press enter, save, shopping has come. Then car wash, it has come. Then what else can be done here? Let's say insurance. Okay, so our to-do list is working totally fine. When I click on add task, it is pushing this text into an array and then it is applying the ng for to display these things. Okay, fine. But in real time, what will happen? We will not do something like this. What we'll do is we need to, what it is called, make this thing as one component. This whole thing will be one component. This list will be another component. Okay. So what do I do for that? So for that, I have to create two components. And before going into that, let me show you one thing. Here in this app component, what did I do? This div is the parent component, parent element, and this is a child element, right? Child component. Inside the parent, it is loaded. So this kind of parent child structure I have to create. So what do I do here is in this home component, let's say this li should be a separate component. That means it will be a task component. Okay, or to do component. Whole thing is a to do list component. This one is a to do component. Something like that I have to do. Okay, so let me create something. Let me create a small to do component for this, and this home component should also be separate. So what can I do? I can do one thing. I can create a to-do list. Shall I go with that, or okay, let me do one thing. Let me just create a small component for this one. Okay, so first, how do I create the component? I go to src, I go to app. Inside the app, inside the app, I create one component here. Home component is there. Okay, yes, so let me create a component here. How do I create it? Cmd ng generate component. So I'm writing shortcut. Okay, and earlier what did I write? I write ng generate component and then to do. This way I used to write, but now what I'll do is I'll write shortcut like cg nggc to do. That means ng generate component. C means component. I press enter and component is created. Okay, are we able to see it?
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Yes, we are able to see the component here. Fine.
So we have,
We have one extra component now. Now this to do component I will use instead of this li. Okay, and what I can do, this ul can also be another component if you want, but normally what we do is this whole thing we make one component and then we write something here. Okay, fine. For the time being, let us do a basic example. Later on we'll try to improvise the things. We'll try some better approach, that means complex approach. Now let us create only one component, and instead of this ul I will not instead of this dot bulleted structure, I will go without dot. So I can remove this ul. Instead of that, I will create one that thing, what is it called, a div, which looks better. Okay, because ul is getting a dot by default and all those things. Okay, So here, what I will be doing is this add task. What it is doing when I am clicking on this add task, it is saving the data into this task array. Right now, instead of loading that UL, I'll create one div. So that a div will contain the task. Okay, or else I will go with a, sorry, not a div, actually that should be a to do, this to do component. So what I'll do here, this to do is something like, let's say a paragraph can be used. Okay, I'll use a p. In the p, so this p, let me write here only hello, and let me load this component in the home component. So how do I load that? This component, if I want to select this component, I need the selector app to do. This app to do I have to use here. So let me write here app to do. Okay, and if I see this hello is coming, right? So, and if I apply one ng for here, star ng for let task of tasks, what will happen? If I write here something, I'll get one hello. If I write another thing, I'll again get hello. So how many elements are there in the array? That many hello will be displayed. But we don't want hello, right? Whatever I am typing, that I need to show there, isn't it? So for that, what do I do? For that, whatever I am typing, that is actually stored in the parent component, in the home component. Here, what is happening? This home component is the parent. This to do is a app to do is a child of this home component. It is the home is a parent. So we have to pass the data. Whatever I am typing, that is stored in task name. This task name needs to be passed to the child so that the thing will be used there. That thing will be used to display it, because now what is happening, to do component is having just hello, that hello is getting displayed. So for that we have to pass the data. Okay, so how do I pass the data? So we have to go with the property binding approach. How did we use the property binding approach? Using square brackets. Using square brackets, we have to pass the data to a property of the child. Now our child is having no properties. todo.component.ts is having no property, it is having directly hello here. So for that, first I have to create a property here. Let's say task title. I'll create a thing called a task title. Initially it is empty. Okay, to this task title property, I have to send something from the parent. Task title is there in the app to do, todo.component.ts. So I have to pass this task or the tasks, whatever you want to pass. So what I will pass, I will try to pass only this task. Okay, let us see what can be done. So ng4 is there, fine. So here I have to use a square bracket like this, and then square bracket equal to something I have to write. So what will be there inside the square bracket? The property which is present in the app to do, that I have to pass here, and what value I want to pass, that I will pass here. Okay, so what is the property that is present in app to do? Not in home, in app to do. App to do I have task title. So this task title I have to write here, equal to what I have to write, the property which I want to send. So that is task. Now what is happening? This task title has to be what it is called. This task title is present in the to do component. That is fine, but Angular will not allow to bind directly value like this. So for that, what do I want to do is, need to do is, here in the to do component, I have to write something like, I have to use one input decorator @input, something like this. Okay, so when I write like this, what happened? Quick fix. Okay, import. Yes. So @input task title. So when I write like this error has gone. Can you see? That @input, if I don't write, I cannot use that as I cannot pass something from the parent. Okay, if I want to pass something from the parent to the child, that a child property, task title is a child property, right? It is in the to do component. That property must be used with a add rate input decorator. So this address input, the moment I write here, I have to import it here. If I don't import it here, this line will not work. Import input from @angular / core. If I don't do this, this thing will not work. Okay. Now we are able to pass the task title to the child. Okay. Variable task is of type string. Okay. The moment it goes there to the child, now this is the task title. So this task title I have to display instead of hello. So what do? I put curly brace here and I put task title here. Now let us see is it working or not. I type here shopping. Yeah, task and shopping is coming. Then car wash. Car wash is getting displayed. Okay. This way what we are doing is we are binding the data from the parent to the child. Let us see now again what we have done till now, because this may be a little bit confusing, but we have to understand the code what we are doing. So in the home component, what did I do? I have loaded the app to do component. First I created this app to do component outside, and then I loaded it here, and then I wrote ng for. Why did I write ng for? Because I want this to be repeated again and again. And the app to do, I can apply some style to this. Okay, where is the to do component? This is the to do component, and let me do something here. This p is there, right? So let me put this p inside a div, and p I will put it here, and I'll apply some class equal to task, and I apply some styling. Dot task is having border 2px solid, let's say yellow. Okay, some margin 5px, padding 5px. Okay, so when I write something shopping, I get this. Okay, fine, this is working totally fine. So what did I do initially? I loaded the app to do component here, and I wrote ng for because I want it to repeat so many times according to the number of tasks in the task array. Then I have passed this task. I pass this task to the task title property of the child. So the child is already having a task title property, but we have to use the address input to make it work. Otherwise, it will not be able to accept the data from the parent. Okay. Once I put this address input, it will be ready to accept the value from the parent, and that data we are able to show it here. So this is how this address input will work. What is happening here? We are passing the data from parent to child. For parent to child, what we are doing? We have to use this address input decorator in the child, not in the parent. Okay, address input we have to use in the child to tell Angular that please accept data if it comes from the parent. And in the parent, in the child, I have to do this part. In the parent, I have to do this part. Square bracket in the parent, address input in the child. This is how we can send the data. Okay. Now let us try to do more things. Like what I want to do is, I will try to do something like I want to have a delete button along with this P. So instead of P, can I use a span? I am using a span. So it will become a inline element. Okay, fine. Then what do? I have a button here. Button. and it has having delete option. Okay, then here I put some data, delete task method, something. Okay, now what else? Okay, this yellow is not visible properly. Huh. Okay, so what did I do? Here I wrote delete task. Okay, so delete task is not there in this component, that's why it is not working. So del task is a method. Okay, fine. This is now okay. Now let us see. We have, if I write here shopping, I get delete option here. Okay, fine. That is totally fine. So when I delete here, first thing is data is not in the child component. This is the child component, right? This is the to-do list, to-do component. So when I delete this, it should actually delete. It will first go to the parent. In the parent, there is an array. In that array, that shopping should be deleted. So let's say I have shopping car wash as well. Car, car wash. And then let me have one more thing, that is insurance, then school fees, okay, these things are there. Now what is to be done? When I click on delete on the insurance, it should go to the parent, pass this index. What is the index of this? 1 2 3 4. Four things are there. So I have to pass the index. That index I have to ask the parent, please delete the element at this index, because in the parent we will have the whole array: shopping, car wash, insurance, school fees, isn't it? So we have to pass the uh, index from this child and tell the parent, please delete this at the parent. Okay, so what do I do for that? First, here at this point I don't have the index, right? So what do I do? From the parent I didn't pass any index, I passed only task. Okay, so for that what I have to do is I have to pass the index as well. So for getting the index, what I need to do is, here I have to let I equal to index. In the parent I must have this, otherwise I cannot pass the index. This will store it there. So here I'll pass the index as well. So ind is equal to I. Okay, now this ind again, it is not there in the child, so I have to create this property. So where is it? Here, just like add rate input, I have to write another add rate input. Add rate input, what is the property? Ind is of type number. Okay, or else I'll write ind is of type any. Is of type number or undefined. Okay, I'll write like this. Now it is fine. What will happen? So this index I am passing from there. So now the error has gone. So when I'm creating the passing the when I'm creating this to do, it is also passing the ind. Now what I have to do is, see here when this component is loading, I have the task title and index. So this index I already have it with me, right? So I have to pass this index while deleting ind. So what happened? Ind error expected 0. Okay, fine. So I'll write here I any. Okay. So I have passed the ind in the delete task. Now what I have to do? First thing is, the array is not in the child component, it is in the parent component. So for that what I have to do? I have to tell the parent that please go to this index and delete the data. Delete that particular index. So for that we need something more in the child component. Here along with input I have to import one output also, and also one more thing called event emitter. Okay, this thing if you want to get more clarity about this input output, you can go to our website where we have this communication between components. Okay, we have seen this input already. Then we will go with the add rate output. So this thing I have just now done. Now I will again create a new property called new item event, which will be written like this. Okay, new event emitter, and then I have to create a method which will emit. So let me show you. So first, what do? I create one event emitter. Add rate output is um, delete event. Okay, delete event equal to new event emitter. Huh. Now when I click on this delete task, what it should do, it should use this delete event to send the data to the parent. Which data? It will not send the whole string, it will send only the index. Okay, so this I has to be sent. So what do? This dot del event dot emit. Emit means send. Emit, what I should emit? I should emit I, this I. Okay, this is what I have done here. We have to pass this data from the child to the parent. So what is add rate output helping us to do? It is helping us to send some data from the child to the parent. Okay, now here we are done with the child. When I click on the data, it will call this del task function and it will pass the index. So we are passing the index like this, but the parent, after getting the index, it has to delete the data, right? So that part is left, child part is over, parent part is left. So in the parent, what do? Here in this thing, I have to create one event binding like this. So what is the name of the event? Just now I created, the name of the event is del event. So this del event I have to pass here. So del event like this equal to something. Del event is coming from the data, sorry, child. Here I have to write one function or method which is present in the parent component. So in the parent component, I have to create a function like this. Okay, and then it will do the things, deleting and all. Okay, so this part I have done. Now I have to create a method. So where is the method? I didn't create any method here. Add task is done, then delete task is another method I am creating. Okay, and here something will come. What is that? It will bring the index. So current index is of type any. Okay, so this current index I will get it here. So what is the method? Delete task. So delete task of, I will get the data in a property called dollar event. It is coming from the child. Okay, the dollar event is coming from the child. So you can see here, this is how we write. Del event is the child property, which is in the todo.component.ts, and the delete task is this parent component thing. Okay, fine. Now let us see what is to be done. So in the delete task, I will get the data here. This is the index. So what I have to do? This dot tasks dot splice, and I have to use that index. What is it? Current index. Current index comma 1. This is the basic splice that we use to delete something from the array, right? So at the current index, whatever value is coming, that value I have to delete it, and automatically ng-for will again load the data. Okay, let us see that now. Is it working fine? So what do I do here? Car wash, add insurance, add shopping, add school fees, add. Okay, now I want to delete this shopping. So if I click on shopping, see, it got deleted. How it happened? Let us see the process once again. When I am on the child component, when I click on the delete button, it is calling a del task method. What is the del task method? And it is also taking the ind index from here. Okay, so this del task is taking this ind and it is passing to this I. After that, using this event emitter, we are sending this index value to the parent using this emit method. This emit method will help us to send some data to the parent. Now in the parent, what we are doing, we are using this del task. This is the child method, isn't it? So this child method I am using. So here what is happening, the event name is, what is the event name? Event name is del event. So this del event is emitting the data, so that I have to use it here as an event, because this is event binding. In parentheses we write only event. So del event I am writing, and delete task of dollar event is the method which is present in the parent. So you have to remember always, right side of the equal to is always the data which is present in the parent. Okay, current component. So using this delete task, what we are doing here, we are taking the current index and applying the splice. So on this task array, that particular element is getting deleted. Okay, so this way we can delete whatever I want to delete. So this is how it works. Okay, that's it for this session. So in this class we have learned about the address input and address output. Okay, we'll come with some more new things in the next class. Okay, that's it for this session.